The more you get involved in the recovery community, the more you see the different needs, and you'll never run out of things to do. So, it started as just a group of female peers in Walker County. We came together through the Healing Network of Walker County. They were doing I don't know what they're called, like where they sit down and interview you, and then they do a research thing, like a case study afterward.
Yeah.
What are those called?
A research case study after.
Perfect. So we were doing that, and once we all got together, we were like, we should start doing this all the time. So then we started meeting monthly, and we ended up putting the events together that we do, the Overdose Awareness Walk, Sober Fest, and the more we work together, the more we're able to network and collaborate, and it just keeps on expanding. So I keep finding myself in new roles and working in different capacities within the recovery community. And so...
What do you do now?
What do you do at Hope for Women?
As of September, I stepped into the executive director role there.
Yay!
Yay! My dear friend, and she's like a spiritual mother to me, Deborah Quinn, she was the executive director for 2.5 years. She did amazing things with the program and really laid the foundation for me. Once she got ready to transition out of the role, it just felt right for me to, I interviewed for the position, and I just felt like that was where I was being led to go, and it worked out. So now I'm there. I still call Deborah at least once a week, and just kind of bounce things off of her and use her experience, because she was there for so long, and she did such a good job, and she has a lot of wisdom and insight that I need. So I talk to her a lot. I talk to my board. I talk to my friends in the recovery community, and it's been new. It's something I've always worked in outreach, and so stepping into this role has been a change for me, but it's been really, really good. I love it. I feel like this is where I'm meant to be.
What is so what is Hope for Women specifically? What does it do? What is your goal? What is Hope for Women's goal? I mean, obviously recovery, but what is specifically Hope for Women? Hope
for Women is a 12-month residential faith-based recovery program. The mission of Hope for Women is to help women with substance use disorders who need help transforming their lives for the better. It focuses on mind, body, and spirit. The ladies that come in, they get spiritual guidance. They get to have true encounters with Christ. They have so many mentors that come in and show them what a true example of Christianity is. They work, y'all are probably familiar with the Genesis curriculum.
Oh, yeah.
So they do the Genesis curriculum.
I don't know about Chris, but...
Did you do your homework?
Yeah, I did. Every day. I read my Bible too.
They get so much out of that, and it really helps them to look at the root issues of why we used in the first place. And it's a real healing process for them to go through that curriculum. And they participate in Alcoholics Anonymous. They have ladies come in and do all kind of different classes, activities, art. They go swimming 3 times a week. It is they go to the natatorium. At the natatorium, it's
so the aquatorium. I was going to say the aquatorium.
Their exercise 3 days
Is that required?
I require it. Yes.
I mean, I think
Well,
that's
because
great. I think that's a
like,
great
your
thing.
physical
They
health
do
is
like
just
pool
as-
yoga or something, like, or like, is it like a, what do you call that? Like when you're,
Aquanautics.
yeah.
Aquanautics.
I don't know how
Like
how much.
I can do a handstand in the water.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
I'm pretty-
That's
I'm
why
pretty-
he's sober.
Yeah, I'm
Because he
pretty-
can do these things.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good, dude.
It's pretty cool.
If that's not an incentive for sobriety, I don't know what
Yeah,
is.
exactly.
Yeah.
You're telling me I'll
If
be
you
able to
get
do a
sober,
handstand?
you can also do handstands in the water.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. So they get to go swimming 3 times a week. I think that's really, because we talk about this a lot, Nikki, and I don't mean to talk over you, but I think of like, especially early in recovery, having that physical outlet as a quote unquote requirement, because you are dealing with depression, anxiety, guilt, regret, whatever it is. And I think to have a physical outlet so you can tangibly, like, I guess, shake that out of you, I think that really is important, not only for a physical standpoint, but a mental standpoint.
I
know?
agree. It is, I mean, it's evidence-based that physical exercise is a way to reduce stress, get your endorphins flowing naturally, produce dopamine. It reduces depression. It can help with anxiety.
Sleep.
Yeah, it helps you regulate your sleep. So it's just a great way to be healthy, and it helps with, mental health and physical health.
Yeah, no, that's great. They get to go out there and, I know it sucks, especially early in recovery. Especially coming off of opiates. Yes, coming off of opiates, you don't have zero energy as it is. And then you hit that water and your skin is like already, ooh, it's rough. It's rough, but I promise it's not, from my experience, that in the end, I think instead of it taking 6 months to start really regulating, your body might take 4 months. It's just quicker. It just helped me sleep, and I don't know, the anxiety and everything helped to go away. But so what would a female or a woman need to do to get in for Hope for Women?
Just call me. They can call the office anytime. The phone number is 205-265-2799. We have someone in the office answering the phone all day. They can email us, hopeforwomenllc@gmail.com. There's also on our website, hopeforwomenllc.org. There is a little pre-application form that someone can fill out, and it'll come directly to me. The goal is to make it accessible for somebody to get the help they need, and that's the whole mission behind Hope for Women, is to break those barriers to recovery. We're in a rural area. There's not a whole lot of residential resources around here. So we want to make sure that they have a safe place to come to where they can transition from crisis into healing.
Yeah. But there's definitely standards that are held there, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. It's scary because in the last several years, there's probably been hundreds, I would dare to say, recovery houses that have kind of sprang up all across Alabama. You never really know what you're going to get with those.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Ours is kind of proven the test of time. Hope for Women's been in operation since 2013. So we're not new to this. So it's, it's a safe place. The house is beautiful. It's a place where people are treated with dignity and where they get all the basic tools they need for recovery. They're going to get the foundation for recovery, which is a relationship with Christ, and developing those actual tools to live a sober life.
Yeah. So what's the requirements of someone that were to get into Hope for Women?
The requirement is that they want help. They want to change their life. They truly want to change a full transition from their past to a better future. And they're willing to commit to being in the program for a year. That's really the 2 basic requirements.
Do y'all like find employment for them? How does that work? Because I know money's a big issue, especially like when you're walking away. Like, how are we going to pay for this? I'm walking away from everything. So how would y'all help ease that financial burden on some of these families and these people?
Right, that's a great question. Because it is a year program, once a person in our program advances into the second phase of the program, then we start looking for them a job. So they'll work between 30 to 40 hours a week. Once they pay the rent to the house, which is a very reasonable amount, and it's all inclusive, it covers everything in the house, then anything on top of that they save. It goes into a bank account. So our ladies, once they have completed 12 months of the program, they always have had the resources to be able to get their own car, get a safe home to live. And each person's different. There's no cookie cutter way to address anybody's life issues. But the goal is that every person has a safe place to go back to.
Yeah.
Whether that's a completely new home or if it's, if they have family, that's great. But if not, that's not a barrier. Everybody's going to come out and be set up for success for their future.
I want to ask this, and I know this is just from personal. Like, do y'all do, I know within that year, do y'all offer, like, help them to build, like, credit or some things? Because I know, look, even if you've been sober for a year and you're, like, you have the money, like, my credit sucked. And that was a barrier in a lot of things. Not that I didn't have a job or the financial means to, like, hey, I promise you I could make more than enough to do this. But they're like, well, you got to have X amount of credit. And I know that was a big barrier for a lot of people. So how do you help overcome that or facilitate that, Nikki?
We have a credit building program. The girls get their own bank accounts, and then they have, it's called a credit builder account that once they start getting direct deposits into their bank accounts, then they're able to use that credit builder account to build their credit over time. Some of them come in and they have zero credit history at all. It's like a ghost. And then some of them come in with poor credit, and some of them, don't need it. It just depends. But we do have options to let them build their credit while they're in the program.
Yeah. Cool. And you see, so if they're like, obviously when somebody gets out, they've learned the skills and the habits over time to go out there and, like, I guess, be in society.
Yes, basic things that they may have never thought about back when you're in active addiction, like a budget, how to pay your bills, how to make sure you don't overdraft your account, things like that. They're learning all of that while they're there.
Yeah. Oh, man, I think we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. It's just, for a long time, Nikki, I didn't even know how to, because I just had people that would do it for me, and I just didn't have the presence, the capacity at that moment to put the cognitive thought into doing these things. But I think that it's like almost I had to relearn a lot of things, like opening up an Alabama Power account.
Putting the deposit down and all that.
All that other stuff. And, like, it's like I knew how to do it, but I didn't, like, know how to do it.
Right.
Yeah. And it was just like paying rent and stuff like that. I know that's crazy. And I did it, but it was like I never, like, really, like I said, actively was part of that in my life.
I can relate to that because I learned how to sew a button in rehab, and I learned how to boil eggs correctly in rehab. Just like weird things that you don't think about until you're sober, and you're like, why don't I know how to do this?
Yeah, I get anxiety. Just like, I was actually thinking about it last night. I was like, it's funny, like, and I don't even know why I get to the points where, like, I'm, like, always checking my account now, but, like, it was like going through my addiction and stuff. It was like I'm always like, oh, how much money do I got? How much money do I got? And, like, I still, like, do it. And I was like, why am I checking my account at 8:00 at night? It's like a freaking tick for me.
A trauma response.
Yeah, but, like, I get anxiety, dude. It's crazy. I'm like, okay. I'm like, but then you, like, it's like at the point where I'm like, dang, I've never had this much money in my account. You know what I mean? But, like, I'm like, and it feels weird, but I don't know why. But I was literally, it's funny I brought, like, the whole money and credit thing up because I'm like I was literally doing it last night. I was just like, but like I had this anxiety for some reason. I was
Yeah.
like, what is going on with me right now? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like I was like, what the heck? But like, we talk about it too because it's like especially running a business, it's like it's cool to the point where it's like we run into these jobs where it's like I gotta get this tool to make things work pretty much, and like now I can, Chris, I'm always ordering something or whatever. So
Why do you need this, dude? It's like it was on sale.
You actually saved money. You
Yeah.
got it on sale.
yeah, like I was talking to
It's
my
like
aunt.
I'll be here tomorrow. I'm like,
I was talking, yeah, but the coolest part too is I was talking to my aunt this morning, and like I was talking about these pants. Like these are my favorite pants now. Like they
tell
fit
me
me.
what they're called.
They're
$2.
yeah, they're pedalas, but they're poodalas.
They're $2, dude.
Look, poodle, but they're $35, man. I was like, my aunt was like, she's
What a
like,
steal.
she's like, but it was cool for her to say. She's like, it's the little things because like probably a year and a half ago I'd been like, but that's $35. I don't got $35 to spend on some pants. Like,
no.
you know what I mean? But like now I'm like, look, maybe they're on sale and it's got a 20% coupon. Like she's just cracking up. She started laughing like, but like, but it when you get, it's not necessarily the fact when you get sober, but like you don't think about those things through addiction and stuff, like, or like just little things like that, like what your expenses and stuff, like really there are so many people that try to teach me, but like obviously I'm like, yeah, okay,
Not
whatever.
interested.
Yeah, like whatever, like, but I don't know, I feel like it's important because when you get sober it's a little easier obviously, but two, it's like when you're relearning things, you're like, okay, that's actually not that hard.
Right.
It sucks, of course, like paying rent and all this stuff, but you're like, okay, well, I can actually do this now. That was a little simpler. Going to set up an account for something, you're like, oh, okay.
Kind of easier than I thought it'd be.
Yeah, it's like, all right.
But everything
wait,
was like
it's like,
existential,
wait,
like end of the world.
wait, you're
type.
going to let me have that? Okay, cool. Talk to you later.
Yeah.
Send you money when? Alright.
Yeah, it is, man.
It's funny. The girls, they do, it's called BLS, but it stands for Basic Living Skills. So they do a BLS every Tuesday. So they learn some kind of basic life skill on that day. Plus, like, they take turns in the kitchen and things like that. So they're learning all of these. And just the structure of the program is very structured. There's a schedule, like there's every hour of your day is accounted for doing something.
Yeah.
And so they're learning, whether they realize it or not, every day they're learning time management, how to structure your day, how to like fulfill your responsibilities, just how to be an independent adult. Some of them for the very first time in the next couple months are gonna like file taxes for the first time. They've never had a job where they had to file taxes.
Yeah.
So
That's another thing I'm learning. I'm like,
filing taxes is so scary because it's like answer all these weird questions. What's on this line? Put it right here. Now we're gonna tell us how much you're gonna give us out of whatever you made. But then if you do it wrong,
You're going to prison.
you might go to jail.
yeah.
And we know the answer, but we're not
We're
going
not
to
gonna
tell you.
We just want to see if you'll be honest with us. Like,
Yeah. It's like a test. And I'm trying to be honest. I'm doing my best here, but
Yeah.
it's a
I have
little
a real
confusing.
problem with that, dude.
Yeah.
On my taxes.
Yeah. I don't know.
Here's all my things. Someone else, I have to let somebody else do it.
You're like, well, you lied. It's like, well, I
I'm
didn't.
scared.
I swear.
That was the truth to me.
Yeah.
Man. I told the truth.
Yeah.
How do you tell me? If you already know the truth, why don't you just do it, brother?
Yeah. Why do I gotta do it? Just take it out.
Why'd you put me through all this? Just tell me what I owe.
It's
Yeah.
like a big deal, dude. No, but I really do. And things like that, like taxes and stuff. That is, I know, man, my dad used to tell me this. He's like, Chris, he's like, do your taxes right. He's like, it might take a few years, but I promise they will catch up with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
They
yeah, but I'm just saying, like, you know, you think of like, oh, and you don't hear nothing for a couple of years, but I promise you, there's gonna come a day.
Yeah.
The math's gonna stop mathing,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna be in a world of hurt, man.
Yeah.
You know, and
They're like, gotcha. They
Yeah.
come around the tree. You're like, where'd you come from?
yeah,
They're like,
Yeah.
Chase Ford? I'm like, yes. They're like, you owe us. That's like,
no, but I mean, that really is. I know that sounds. Some people that are watching, they're like, oh my God, that's just basic stuff. Like, well, you know.
I'm glad it's
It's
big.
a big deal to
It's
us,
a big
okay?
deal.
I'm glad-
Just
It's
let
a
us
big
have
deal
this
for me.
moment
Yeah,
to be
to
proud
do
of
that.
ourselves.
Yeah, I'm glad it was basic for you. I mean, you know, simpler times, great parents, cool. But, you know,
Yeah.
sometimes things in life don't show you that. And
If
then
I was
you
like power bill or fentanyl, 10 out of 10 times, buddy, I get some fentanyl. You know, F these
Lot
lights,
of
bro.
candle.
Yeah, F these lights, bro. I'll make a fire. You know, I don't care about these lights. Hey, truck payment, come get it, bud. You know?
I've got flashlights.
You just walk outside the next day and your car's gone.
Dude, there's a couple of times I missed a couple truck payments, and I had like a gate. I would park it behind my house. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm like, yeah, they're not gonna like, and I knew that. That's just how crazy I was. Like, yeah, I'll take care of that later. Like everything was like, I'll worry about it later. You know.
Yeah, and then the anxiety of that, dude. Like, it's crazy. It's like,
But I had this weird thing when I'd get anxious, I'd just do more drugs.
yeah,
too.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anxious.
I'm like,
do
oh,
more
I'm
drugs.
done with the 12-pack. Well, I still feel this certain way. I'm going to go drink some more.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man, I'll be there in a little bit. And then, yeah,
Yeah.
$100 later,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, crap, I got to pay.
I gotta pay them back, dude.
Like, wait, like, whoa. Yeah,
It
what a
is,
life.
man.
And, I mean, but, like, that, I guess that's, like, what I was saying a second ago, the anxiety of it is, like, I don't know, with, like, checking an account or something, like, I don't know, man. I was literally thinking about this last night. It's just weird to me because I don't even know. I really don't. I hate that feeling, though. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
But I think it's necessary that you feel that, so then you like, because it's, I mean, for how many years you operated like that?
that's what, but no, I'm checking accounts, too, to, like, see what days I have to pay. And, like, I pay, like, a month early now.
Yeah.
I swear.
This is due next year. I'm paying it right now. Dude, let it ride a little bit, bro.
Yeah. He's like, I'll hit him up. I'm like, oh, paid this. He goes, that's not paid till the 20th. I'm like, yeah, it's the 15th of this month.
Let these terms ride a little bit, man. You know? But I mean, I get it, you know, and that's I won't say necessarily a bad thing, but I mean, that's just, I think, is a culmination, and I don't know, it's trauma response, but like for so long, you could not take care of any responsibility, not even financial responsibilities,
Yeah, I know.
but just social, just job, occupation. There's no way you could take care of these responsibilities, and it's like you almost go overboard in those things. And like too, how many times like when you're, I don't know, you're doing a cash out or something, you like count the money 1 trillion times.
Oh, yeah.
And saying like,
I
or
do
like-
that with you.
Yeah, or like the receipt, like this is matching this job order. Look,
Yeah.
boom, like, and you'll do it 1,000 times to say like, nobody can say shit to me. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's just like those
Well-
things. You're make 1,000. You're over.
Yeah,
for
in
those.
recovery, I think you hold yourself to a higher standard because you're overcompensating for all the times where you were just way below the bar at
Yeah.
everything.
It wasn't
Yeah.
a bar, dude.
The bar was I was like way down
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, dude, I was
I was like, how do I
So-
get up there?
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
I find myself, and it's like there's a statistic that says like people in recovery call into work less and like are much more reliable workers. I think that's true. Like when you're working a recovery program and you have like honesty as the foundation of it, and like you're doing all these things to be reliable and all the things that you were not when you were in addiction, it ends up making you like a super overachiever sometimes.
yeah. No, I know. That's
Hyper
what,
vigilant about everything.
Yeah.
Got to do this right because I did it wrong for so
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, we do that. I know, like you said, honesty, and sometimes I wouldn't say. Sometimes I'm like, I want to say the kindness and honesty, or like somebody like, hey, y'all come to this job this day. I'm like, no. They're like, wow, y'all, you need to be. I'm like, because I don't want to be there, dude. And honestly, you kind of pissed me off the other day, so I don't want to be there right now. And Chase is like, Chris,
You can't say that.
don't say that. Like, there's nicer ways you can say that,
Yeah.
you know. But I don't know. I think that, I mean, it's definitely valuable. But in a game when I was so dishonest for so long, not only with people but with myself, that it's like you're telling, I overcompensate. Like, hey, how do you feel about, or do you like this? I'm like, no, that's terrible, dude. I hate that. I'm like, maybe I should say that. A little bit different, you know what I mean?
The thing about having like integrity now is that you really often recall times when you didn't like walk past a car that somebody left running. You're like, would have got you 7 years ago.
You've been got, bro.
Yeah.
You've been got, dude.
You're
you know?
lucky I've changed my life.
Yeah, and you'd be lucky if you had a kid in the car and I put the kid outside.
Yeah. That would have been my kid.
Yeah, it would have been my kid.
His name would have been.
I'm raising this child now.
His name would have been James. Or Peter.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Who's
That's
that?
integrity right there, y'all.
Yeah.
This is Peter. When did you get a kid? You just
Yesterday.
came with me one day.
Came with a car. Bought it with a car.
Yeah.
Came with a
Yeah,
car.
they give out kids with cars now.
It's like a BOGO situation.
Yeah, buy one, get
It's
a
a-
child for free.
Yeah, it's an adoption
Boost
thing.
one, get one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
first one, get one.
It's an adoption booster. I've been.
You know, you can
it's
sell
a
them down
charity.
to children's. You can sell them down here to children's.
Yeah, it's charity now.
Heck yeah, man. Well,
Cars with kids.
I was going to say this. Children, yeah. Get old children and vehicles stolen. That's the best way to go, dude.
We're
No,
kidding.
so
We're kidding.
I'm not. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No, so I know you're in the recovery scene for women, Nikki. And just from what I've seen, and I'm not trying to make an assumption per se, but Walker County does have a I don't know, definitely how do I say this? A lot of people addicted to drugs that are men. And from what I've seen, not making, again, assumption, there's not very many programs that men can get a hold of that's necessarily in Walker County. They have to go to Birmingham, they have to go out, outside the county. Why do you think that's so? Or why is that? I mean, again, I don't know the best way to ask that. Like, why is that? Why do you see such a strong, group of women holding it together, offering this, and then you don't see that on the flip side as well?
Yeah. You're right. We do have a really, the drug epidemic hit Walker County especially hard, back in the 2000s with, it all started with prescription medication being legally prescribed in the county. And, addiction itself is chronic and progressive. And in our community, it's been chronic and progressive. You can see how it has evolved into a heroin epidemic, and now we're in the midst of a fentanyl epidemic. So the need for rehabilitation is only getting bigger and bigger by the day. We don't have...
Get that. Could you try again?
We don't have just a ton of women's resources. We have Hope for Women and City of Lights and 3D are the three residential, but that's three more than the men have. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then if you look at our recovery community and the recovery leaders in our community, it's female dominated. And I don't know why, but there's just a bunch of us girls that run around and get things done and find new ways to serve and try to break barriers. We're open to men coming and helping us. We do have one peer. His name's Larry. Larry works at Fellowship House. He is wonderful. But we need some male peers because we have a lot of males that aren't getting the peer services that they need. Like, we'll offer peer services to males. It's not like that, but sometimes you need a male to relate to if you're a male.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember going through detox, and these ladies came in. We were doing like a little, I don't know, you gather around and
Talk about how terrible you feel.
yeah, but like they were like, just pretty much saying like they you know, they need more men in it, and especially going through this sobriety journey and going through what program and everything, it is needed, and I feel like this is why we created this too, to kind of get that out there as well, because males can, talk to females, and also you can relate to people in that manner, but because, I guess as men too, we're just like, oh no, we got this, but
I'm fine.
yeah,
I did
but
not have this.
yeah, but
But
until
he did not have this.
Yeah.
He was not fine.
I was
Yeah.
not okay.
until you realize it, and then that's
Yeah.
the point of like you want it, but I feel like it is a huge need out there to be more open as men too, just because it's okay, it's all right, because again, we don't got this sometimes, and it's okay to
It's okay to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
But it's a lot easier for like us as women to talk about our feelings.
yeah.
There's no stigma against it if we talk
Well,
about
and
how
I'll
we're
go
going
as far to
through
say
our
as this,
Right.
man. As a man, it's not like necessarily you have to go and talk about your feelings. Like sometimes it's like I'm just saying I need help,
Yeah.
and it's not like, oh, how do you feel? Like I don't want to talk about. Like I just need help. I hadn't, and it's like I get the whole thing of not wanting to open up, especially like a male opening up to a female, because I don't think, just for me, it's just like sometimes it's like hard in just the society. In recovery, there's different factors that both that necessarily don't affect one another, but they're dealt with through women or through men. And sometimes just saying like as a guy, like, dude, I just need help. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. And be like, okay, cool, we can get you help. And whatever that is, if you want to talk about it and you think it'll help better, then do it. If you don't want to talk about it, if you just need help on getting some things together, I think. But the first thing is just saying like, look, hey, this is whipping my tail. Like, I don't have this. I do need help.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that, man. It's a not. And you look at people who don't necessarily go or are not addicted to drugs, and like some of the strongest men in my life that they're not drug addicts or they're not in recovery, right? They're like at times like in their businesses or their marriage or relationships or this. They're like, hey, I can't do this by myself. Like, how many successful businesses that's just ran by one person? I don't know. There might be, I'm sure there's some, but the majority of them have 2 or 3 people who have came together
Have a partner.
and have a partner
Yeah.
to do these things, because you can't do that. And I think telling people and just being honest with people, like, look, I don't understand this. I don't get this. Is why I need your help. And I think you can say that in recovery, because the stigma behind addiction, especially for a guy and for so long, is like, just stop drinking. Just don't do drugs.
Why didn't I think of that?
I was like,
Yeah.
God. I promise if it was, and this is the thing, it's like, and please, I don't mean this anyway. If Jesus could keep us sober, we'd all be sober. So I'm just saying there's more to those
Well, he
things.
can, but he gives us free will. That's
Exactly. What I'm
that's the
saying is
beauty
just
of
not like,
free
just
will.
pray about it. I'm like, hey, like I need a little bit more than just praying about how I'm feeling right now. I need some real connection with real people who know this way. And that's what I say by those things. Is if it was that simple, if it was like,
No, it
repair the
requires
ACL.
work.
Yes,
on
exactly.
our end.
exactly.
It's not just something where, there are some people that their story is divine intervention. God came and just took it away.
Great.
How does
Yeah,
it feel
but-
to be God's favorite?
Yeah,
Because
because it didn't
Yeah,
have
God
to be.
But you
gave
also-
me tools, and I had to work really hard to
Yes.
develop them. And He put me in situations where I was surrounded by people that poured into me. He put me in the right places around the right people, and I worked my butt off.
Yeah, but you still had to do the work. You know what I
Right.
mean?
And you still, at the end of that, you give credit to God. I don't give credit to myself.
No.
But I think it's scary, and it can be deadly if somebody is just expecting God to do all
Yeah.
the work and them not have to do anything.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I was trying. I guess the point I was trying to make is that like you just can't, man. You can't like just pray when you're feeling that type of way. Something like I just can't sit there and pray and it go away. Bud.
Pray and then use the tools and the
Yes.
brain that God gave
Yes,
you.
the logic behind
Yeah.
that, or like, or read your, like, no, or just like go to church. Like, buddy, if those did all those things, I promise you, we'd have 100% success rate, right? And I'm not saying those things don't work, but I'm just saying sometimes I know in my recovery journey, not that I'm there yet, but it's like I needed like real people to be real and like, look, hey, like, just that know that way, and just to be like kind of I can relate to, and to be that they're like, man, that might work for somebody, but hey, right now where you're at, like let's just concentrate on this right now.
Yeah. Well,
Recovery is so like it's all encompassing. You have to change everything about your life, everything about how you think, everything about like the people that are around you. And so if you think that you can just do one or like cherry pick one or two things
can't.
of recovery and that's going to keep you sober, it won't. Like you have to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's every single thing. Because if you could cherry pick, look, I tried to do that
Me too.
7 times. 7 different times.
I tried to do it the easier, softer way many times.
Yes. And it did not work out. I mean, it worked out for 5 or 6 months, but when really things started to get real, I mean, it did not sustain me. I can't speak for anybody else.
Takes a lot of working on yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to like not only like go do the things you're supposed to do, which is very important, but like that's how you get blessed is like you not to be selfish, you know what I mean? Recovery is selfish. You got to be selfish for yourself, but like to get blessed, like a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, I did this and I did that." Well, good for you. Don't expect nothing.
Yeah.
That's a simple thing. People like you go out and they're like, "Well, I did this for so and so or this to do this." Like, good, awesome. Well, you did like congratulations, but like that's why you're not being blessed is because you're wanting something out of that.
Now give me $20.
Yeah, yeah. Now help me.
Bless me.
Yeah.
Cook me dinner.
But I feel like that's where a lot of people miss out on the very importance of what kind of God teaches you is those moments is like doing something for people and things like that without having to get something back. A lot of people miss out on their blessings because they're so focused on getting something back that they miss that blessing because they're sitting there, oh, well, I'm probably going to get it right here. And really, it's around the corner, but they miss it because they're thinking about this, if that makes any sense. But for real, like I've come to terms and I just kind of let things happen now. It's like, all right, well, if it doesn't, then cool, then it's always another door opens. Like because you can expect something. It's like, man, I really want this to happen. Well, that's not how God works, dude. You gotta.
He doesn't want to?
Yeah, you gotta relax sometimes, which
I'm
freaking terrible at. But
I freak out sometimes.
yeah, but at the same time, but those are valuable lessons because it's like, dang, why did I do that? But at the same time, it could be a week, it could be a day, it could be next year, and then you're sitting there.
We're so used to instant gratification, like one beer I'll feel better, or one hit I'll feel better. So when it takes waiting and like putting in work to get a positive result, that's hard because it's not how our brains are wired.
Yeah.
Well, culturally in society too, man, works like that. Like, hey, especially with social media, it's just like, oh, you can do drop shipping and be a millionaire next month. Like, bro, it's not like that.
Yeah.
Or like you start a podcast. Well, you see this stuff. People start a podcast and they're like, "Oh my God, it's going to be huge." And this, like, bro, it's not like that, man. It's like you almost have to, like, we do this for us, right?
Yeah.
And it's not about. That would be great. I'm not saying that wouldn't be great, but I'm just saying that's not at the end of the day. That's not what it's about. To do those things, it's about the things you learn about not only about yourself, but like different perspectives, different people, different ways to do things. And having those conversations, because we've crossed paths with people on this podcast and sat down with people we would never in 1,000 years have crossed paths with. And I think it's very valuable. I can't speak for Chase, but for for me is seeing that new perspective, and not necessarily how they approach recovery, but how they just approach their life in general and relationships. You're like, man, dude, like it opens my eyes. And you know, a guy, I'm not gonna say his name, he humbled us greatly on this, teaching us things on just how to approach people and sitting down with people. And because we didn't think about it, we've done it so many times. It was kind of like a wham bam, like let's go, instead of like warming up, or just like
just tell me all your deepest, darkest secrets.
things.
Yeah, like, go ahead,
and I'm Christopher, and
welcome to Rehabilitation
tell you about her
Revelation.
childhood trauma.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Here's the world to see it.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah,
You know,
like, welcome to the world
yeah,
of darkness.
It was just like we just kind of got in that mode, but it just kind of like we had to take a step back. But again, we would have never had that opportunity if it wasn't for this. And I think not only was it through the podcast or like learn about but that was just in relationships in general. Mm-hmm. It's like you're ready, like at work and stuff. We're like, hey, we need this. Like we're going instead of like, hey, like see, let's ease into it. Like, hey, we need you to finance this. Give us this money. We're gonna buy this. Like, hey, come on, bud. And they're like, we don't.
No.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. And just having like how to approach things and make people, I don't know, just first create a relationship and rapport and have a human connection with somebody before you can move forward. I'm not saying you want something out of them, but just before you can move forward with anything. And that was just something that taught me in general with that. And, for that, I'm thankful because, again, I would have never had that conversation. It might have taken me another 2 years to learn that, Not that I always learn it now, but I'm just saying it gives me a new thing, a new way to look at things at times.
Yeah, and addiction is so isolating. Like, it's such a dark, heavy time, and you feel so even if you're surrounded by people, you still feel so isolated.
Oh, yeah.
And so in recovery, you have to go out and make those connections. Like, that's a big part of being able to sustain recovery, is having those genuine connections with people.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Like, we'll go out to like somebody's birthday party you'll be at somewhere downtown. They're drinking, they serve alcohols later in the evening, right? And it's like, how do I talk to people sober?
Yeah.
Like, hey.
I'm like sitting in the corner.
Like it was it was kind of weird.
They're like, hey, don't I know you? I'm like, nuh-uh. Well, who am I? What's your name? What's up?
Did you watch the news?
Yeah.
I was like, what?
It's supposed to rain tomorrow.
Yeah,
33% chance.
Yeah, dude. I like this chair I'm sitting in. Like,
I wear a size shoe, 8.5 shoe.
I like bananas.
yeah, dude. You like bananas? But I mean, it was just like relearning.
You like bananas?
But it's just like relearning those. I don't know, just like the art of conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the art of like social interactions, because you can do it.
Yeah.
And it's
Just a little more awkward.
It's a little bit more awkward,
Yeah.
but like when I really thought about it, it's like
But
they're feeling the same thing.
The relationships are so much more genuine.
Genuine,
Like, it's
'cause they're
so
like,
much better.
Yeah. And it's just like, getting past those times, like, oh my God, I got to talk to them. Like, what am I going to talk about? Like,
And then once you start doing it, you're
You're
like,
like,
this is fun.
this
Why
is
was I so
fun.
scared?
why was I so? Why'd I keep stuttering?
Yeah.
Why was I talking about bananas?
Yeah.
Sometimes you walk
feel
away
like-
and you're like, God, that was not my best work
Yeah.
socially.
Yeah.
I could have done better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's and not that Chris is the greatest with women, but I'm just kidding. But he does build my confidence with. He's like, I'm like, dang, she was smoking. He's like, why didn't you talk to her? I'm like, I don't know.
I get him. I'm like, look, next, if you ever say that to me again, I'm stopping. I'm running. I'm stopping her. I'm running her over to you. Please still, dude. I'm like, but I'm just saying, you have to break that, like, I don't know, that barrier. People are like, oh, she's got her headphones in. She's looking at her phone. But I'm like, no, shut up, dude. Like, just say, say something to her, And that's what I try.
I'm the guy. I'm like, hi, you're very pretty, and then she's like, huh, and I'm like,
I like bananas.
your shoes are untied.
I'm like, dude, just say something. It's like, because like in your
Open
mind,
your laces.
because like, what are you afraid of in your mind? Like, what are you afraid of? Like, she's gonna say
Everything.
okay, but like, what's the worst thing is gonna happen?
Rejection.
Like rejection.
That's scary.
Yeah.
How? But like, once you get rejected
I'm
enough,
sorry you've been rejected a billion times.
He's jaded to rejection.
Yeah.
It happens so often.
Yeah.
I'm not jaded. I'm just immune to it. I'm
Maybe,
like, okay,
maybe don't take advice from
That's
this
what I'm
guy.
saying.
what?
But no, he is a good friend because he tries to get me out of that.
Yes,
But what
I
I'm
try to
saying-
gas him up. I try to gas him up.
But
Like,
what
we'll
I'm
talk about
saying
it.
is like,
We
but
just won't talk about bananas.
I might talk about peanuts.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or I don't know. Talk about lip gloss.
Yeah.
What do you know about lip gloss?
I have no
we
idea.
don't, so that's why we'd ask them, or Chase would ask them.
What kind of lip gloss do you have?
Yeah, like I like
This
your
is
hair.
great information I get.
I like your hair.
Don't listen to him.
I'm not. I'll
No
call
more.
you Nikki.
Yeah, I can
I'll
help
call
you.
you
You
Nikki.
should listen to me. Anyway,
But have a
listen.
friend like Chris to help you get out of your confidence.
Yeah.
yeah.
Or get in your confidence.
We all
Whatever.
need somebody behind us cheering us on.
Yeah,
That's a
and
big
I'm
deal.
cheering him on. I do.
But I'm just lucky to have friends. Like, I would, when I met Chris, I would have never met you.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, it is cool to have,
He's just the gift that keeps on giving.
well, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Good or
Yeah.
bad? Mostly bad, but I just give you something, dude.
Yeah.
Give you
He's like the
anxiety.
older brother I never wanted.
Give you anxiety, dude.
Yeah.
You know, give you lots of things, man.
Yeah, man.
Are you
Give you
okay?
gifts. Give you gifts.
Nah.
Give you
I,
things.
This is Chase's cry for help. You saw it here first.
no.
I don't know. It's just I guess it's just, what is help. I guess I can't say for that. What it helps me is like, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? You know, and I'm not saying that just like.
But I
talking to
think about
girls.
everything. I think about the worst
So-
thing.
But I'm just saying no. But I'm saying like
That
starting a
happens.
bit. But seriously, I'm talking about like people that like want to start a business or want to pursue a new career or want to do these things. Like,
I'm
what's
good
the
at
worst
those
thing
things.
that's going to happen?
Yeah, I'm good at those. And Chris, and he's like, dude, why don't you talk to people like that?
Talking to a female is scarier than starting a business.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
See, that's crazy. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy to me.
I'm
Everybody's
serious.
different.
You know.
But no, but like I can if I know if I have like if I'm going to like I don't know, it's not that to get something, but like if it's work or like just something like
To build something.
I can talk.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you. I'll walk straight up to you and be like, "What's up?" But he's like, "Why don't you do that?" Like and I'm like, "I don't know." It's just like a different spark in my head. But if I'm going up to say a chick, like I can't, like it's crazy to me. But when I was drinking, I could obviously self gratify. Like it's like boom, all right, I'm good. Then because you don't really remember the rejection the next day.
Yeah.
I'm
I
like,
think,
they're
like,
like,
too-
you
Or
remember
you
when
have
you
something to blame it on. You're like, I was just drunk.
yeah.
But I'm saying, like, in your
Nowadays, we have
mind,
nothing to
yeah.
blame our mistakes
I'm
on.
like, oh
the
man,
rejection. So what I'm
she's
saying-
gonna tell everybody I'm
But
weird.
what if she
like,
does tell it? This guy tried to talk to me. I told him no. Like, okay. I told him I'm sorry. I have a boyfriend, even though I don't. Like, what's the like? And then like, for me, if that's what she says, that says more about her. If she's gonna like make funny, like, oh my god, he tried to talk to me. But like, why wouldn't
But if
somebody?
she's trying to make a business deal, let's go, girl. What's
Yeah.
up? I'll take you out to dinner.
And I'm just like, why? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just trying to be a good friend, guys.
I
Try
know.
to be a good friend.
You're such a good friend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're a great
and
friend, dude.
I try to gas you up, man. You
That's
know?
cool. Find people to gas you up.
Yeah, hype my guy up, dude. You know.
I don't even know what kind of tangent we just got on, but
That was a rabbit hole. we
That was
went
good
down.
though, dude. That was good.
but that's sobriety.
yeah. No, we're talking about
Brian's
like
just doing things scared.
Yeah.
But
and
I'm
taking
learning.
it
But
is
I
what
am
it
learning.
is.
But either way, like it is. So just taking that for instance, it's like, but that's like doing something new, where you don't even know. Like you find these things about yourself, especially like socially. Like I always did something socially, so it's like, okay, like getting in the feel of it. But now it's like I can come up to you. I'll talk to you all day, and some people too. I don't know. I guess it's just a feeling, but. You know, but like getting sober, I found myself at like, I'm like, I shut down a little bit. and it's not something I'm used to because everybody's like, oh yeah, Chase will talk to anybody, and I will, but in like social places, I go. Is it introvert?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I'm like a super, and I'm like I freeze or like I go quiet, and it's weird to me because in my head I'm like, talk weirdo, you know what I mean? But then
Say something.
yeah, everybody's like Chase, I'm like, huh? Like, the crazy thing about,
Oh,
but it's learning. Like, I mean, dude, I gotta think. We talk about it all the time. It's just been a little over a year, so like, you can't. Things can happen in your life in that time, and it has tremendously. We've had so many good things going, but I'm also not gonna be this most different person and like find my confidence and all this. It takes time. I'm learning myself again.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Like, maybe one day I'll be a stud, be like, then Chris is like, where did you get all these women, dude? I'll be like, I don't know, dude.
I paid them.
Yeah, I paid them. I paid them,
I
yeah.
paid them, dude. I was really good at business. I was really good at business, Chris.
Yeah, I was good at business. I'm kidding. He's probably not. Anyways, so.
But thank you, Nikki, for what you do for Hope for Women. Seriously,
Yeah.
thank you for what you do for Hope for Women, for the recovery community. We see what you're doing. I know a lot of other people see what you're doing. I know at times it's frustrating, overwhelming.
No, it's a
Overwhelming.
blessing to be able to do it. Like, I look, and the things that like stress me out today are things that I used to pray to have. And so everything is a blessing. Being able to give back in my community when I was just a drain on it for so long is a huge thing that I'm proud of, and I'm glad to be able to do it. And I don't like take it lightly that I'm able to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Well, thank you. Thank you for allowing us in your house to come here and do this, for taking this Saturday when you're so busy, Nikki.
I'm so busy.
You're so busy. But really, I know we appreciate that. We appreciate your time, for not only like for coming on, but just for what you do for us, kind of giving us your perspective and the people we have met through you. You have directly introduced us that we have a whole group demographic of people now that
Show up for us.
That show up.
The most,
that show up.
Shout
for
out
us.
Bryce.
Yeah, Bryce, you're the man.
Bryce, we love you.
We
Get
love
well
you, Bryce.
soon.
Yeah, get well soon, Bryce.
Yeah.
Everybody send out prayers for Bryce, man.
Yeah.
But it's cool too because I mean, literally those people, anytime we've spoke,
Yeah.
in the
Bryce was always there.
he shows up.
Yeah.
Such a great guy.
Yeah.
Huge, solid supporter, reliable,
Yeah,
encouraging.
he's gonna be there.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
always going to be there in your corner. That's what it's all about. Is just building that community.
Yeah.
That's what's going to keep all of us sober. Is
Yeah.
building the community up.
Yeah. It's crazy. You're like, Bryce is here.
No, we were walking off stage, and Bryce is just standing in the middle of the aisle,
We're like,
my
Bryce!
grandpa never had. He's like, give me a hug. We're like, where did you come from,
Give
man?
me a hug.
Yeah.
I love him so much.
Yeah, we're like, oh my gosh.
We're like,
dude, we were
whoa.
talking about
How'd
that
you
the
even
other day.
know we were doing this? It was cool.
Yeah, dude, it really was
Bryce
cool.
is everybody's sober grandpa for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He's like, come here, little buddy. I'm like,
Yeah.
Sit on my knee. Here's a butterscotch.
Like, Bryce, dude, I'll break
There's
your
a
knee.
strawberry. Those little strawberry ones.
Oh, man. Good old Bryce.
Nah, we love you, Nikki.
Yeah.
I love you guys too.
Yeah, when you're nice sometimes, Nikki.
I try to be nice. You just make it so hard.
I got you. Thank you. Thank you, Ozzy, for being the best puppy.
She's the best girl.
Alrighty.
Well, thank y'all. We love y'all.
Show Nikki some love.
Show Nikki some love. And if you ever need any help, this is one wonderful woman to even come to and ask for any advice. She will lead you the right way. And if you know anybody, or if you need any kind of sort of help, just you've got options, and she's one of the wonderful ones to get those options from. So
Yeah, and if you're not interested in residential, or you don't want to, you don't just have to call me if you want to go to Hope for Women. I'm happy to link anybody to any resource that I can, because there's so many different pathways, there's so many different avenues you can take to recover. We just want people to get sober, because
it's about recovery.
Yeah, and these days there's fentanyl in everything. There's so many people that are dying. Like, get sober. We don't care how.